What if the greatest danger of your success is not failure, but the people who witness it? The moment you understand this, you will stop announcing every victory and start protecting it. Most people believe success changes a person's life. In reality, success often changes the people around them first. It has a strange ability to uncover emotions that were always present but carefully hidden beneath politeness, routine, and familiarity. Before you achieved anything meaningful, everyone seemed comfortable. Conversations felt natural. Support appeared effortless. But the moment your efforts begin producing visible results, something quietly shifts. The room may look the same, yet the atmosphere feels different. Success is like a mirror. It reflects more than your accomplishment. It reflects the inner condition of everyone watching. A person who is fulfilled sees your progress as proof that growth is possible. They become inspired because your journey reminds them of what discipline can achieve. But someone who has abandoned their own potential experiences the same success very differently. Instead of seeing possibility, they see comparison. Instead of feeling inspired, they feel exposed. Human psychology explains this reaction. Every person carries an image of who they believe they are. As long as everyone around them remains at a similar level, that image feels safe. But when one person begins rising beyond familiar limits, it quietly challenges everyone else's self-perception. Without saying a single word, your achievements ask a difficult question. If this was possible for them, what have I been doing with my own life? For those unwilling to confront that question, the easiest solution is not self-improvement. It is resentment. This is why success does not create envy. It reveals it. The emotion was already waiting beneath the surface, searching for something to awaken it. Your progress simply gives it a reason to appear. Suddenly, compliments become less enthusiastic. Curiosity becomes observation. Encouragement becomes silence. Some people who once celebrated your smallest victories now struggle to acknowledge your greatest ones. Not because you changed, but because your growth disturbed the comfort of their own excuses. The mistake many successful people make is believing they must explain themselves. They think if they remain humble enough, generous enough, or kind enough, everyone will continue supporting them. Kindness is valuable, but it cannot erase another person's insecurity. You cannot reason someone out of an emotion they never admitted to themselves. Some battles exist entirely within the minds of those watching you. That is why wisdom teaches restraint rather than display. Your achievements do not lose value simply because they remain private. In fact, they often become stronger when protected from unnecessary attention. Not every victory needs an audience. Not every milestone requires applause. Some successes are meant to strengthen your character, not your reputation. Remember, genuine people celebrate your growth because they are building their own lives instead of comparing them to yours. They clap without feeling smaller. They encourage without expecting anything in return. These are the people worth keeping close. Everyone else is quietly revealing something far more important than their opinion of you. They are revealing the condition of their own mind. Because the moment your success becomes someone else's mirror, you will discover who truly celebrates your growth and who only tolerated your struggle. Once success begins revealing the true nature of people, another lesson quietly follows. You will discover that not everyone who applauds your victories wants to see you keep winning. The first achievement is usually easy for people to celebrate because it feels temporary. It looks like a lucky moment, an exciting event, or a brief chapter that will soon pass. But when your success stops being an accident and becomes a pattern, the atmosphere changes. Consistency has a way of transforming admiration into comparison. Human beings naturally compare themselves to those around them. At first, your progress may inspire others because it feels distant from their own identity. They congratulate you, encourage you, and speak proudly about your accomplishments. But as your discipline produces one success after another, your journey becomes impossible to ignore. It is no longer a single victory. It becomes evidence of a different way of living. That is when silent competition often begins. This competition rarely announces itself openly. It hides behind smiles, compliments, and friendly conversations. Someone may continue praising your achievements while secretly hoping your next attempt fails. Another may ask detailed questions about your progress, not because they genuinely care, but because they are measuring themselves against you. Outwardly, nothing appears different. Inwardly, the relationship has shifted from appreciation to comparison. This is why appearances can be deceiving. A smile does not always reflect support. Praise does not always reveal goodwill. Human psychology teaches us that people often protect their true emotions behind socially acceptable behavior. Very few individuals openly admit that another person's success makes them uncomfortable. Instead, they disguise that discomfort through subtle changes in attitude. Their enthusiasm becomes smaller, their encouragement becomes shorter, their curiosity becomes unusually intense. They begin watching your progress with more attention than they give their own lives. The danger lies in believing every expression of support deserves complete trust. Excitement has a way of making people reveal more than wisdom would advise. They announce future plans too early, celebrate unfinished victories, and share personal achievements with anyone willing to listen. But not every listener carries good intentions. Some people collect information, not to celebrate your journey, but to satisfy their own curiosity or quiet their own insecurity. Real confidence never depends on making others aware of your progress. It understands that growth becomes stronger when protected by patience. A seed buried beneath the ground grows in silence before anyone sees the tree. If it demanded attention before developing roots, it would never survive the first storm. Human achievement follows the same principle. What is still growing deserves protection more than publicity. This does not mean you should become suspicious of everyone or isolate yourself from genuine relationships. There are people who celebrate your victories with sincere joy because they have learned to find fulfillment within themselves. They do not feel threatened by another person's progress because they are committed to their own. These people are rare, but they are invaluable. They cheer for your success without secretly hoping it ends. The wisest person learns to distinguish applause from loyalty. One can be offered in public, while the other is proven only through time. Never mistake excitement for sincerity, because emotions can change with circumstances. But genuine character remains consistent through every season of your life, because those who truly want you to succeed will never become uncomfortable when your success continues to grow. As you begin to understand that not every smile is sincere, another reality becomes impossible to ignore. The louder you celebrate your success, the more attention you attract, and attention is not always a blessing. Many people spend years protecting themselves from failure, yet they never consider protecting themselves from the consequences of visible success. They believe every achievement should be announced, every milestone displayed, and every victory shared. But wisdom understands that what shines the brightest often attracts the greatest number of eyes, and not every eye is filled with admiration. Human nature is naturally drawn toward what stands above the ordinary. The moment your achievements become visible, they stop belonging only to you. They become a subject of observation, discussion, comparison, and judgment. People begin forming opinions about your life without knowing your sacrifices. They admire the result while remaining blind to the discipline that created it. Some become inspired, but many become occupied with questions that have nothing to do with your growth and everything to do with their own insecurity. This is why public success often creates invisible pressure. The more people know about your victories, the more expectations they place upon you. Suddenly, one achievement is no longer enough. They expect another, and then another. If you continue succeeding, they assume success came easily. If you experience one setback, they question whether your previous victories were ever deserved. Their support becomes conditional, depending entirely on your ability to remain impressive. The greatest danger, however, is not criticism. It is distraction. Every moment spent maintaining an image is a moment stolen from improving your character. When people become attached to public recognition, they slowly begin making decisions for applause rather than purpose. They stop asking, "Is this helping me grow?" and start asking, "Will this impress other people?" That single change quietly shifts the direction of an entire life. Consider the strongest tree in a forest. Before it reached toward the sky, it spent years growing roots where no one could see them. It did not announce every inch of progress. It developed quietly until its foundation became impossible to shake. Human achievement follows the same law. What grows in silence often lasts the longest because its strength was built before its beauty became visible. There is also another psychological truth that few people recognize. The more others know about your success, the more they feel entitled to comment on your life. Some offer advice you never requested. Others begin comparing their journey with yours. A few may even wait patiently for the first sign of failure, believing that your fall will somehow restore balance to their own lives. None of these reactions help your growth. They simply create unnecessary noise around a journey that requires clarity and focus. This does not mean you should hide because you are afraid. It means you should protect what is valuable until it becomes unshakable. Privacy is not weakness. It is discipline. Silence is not insecurity. It is wisdom choosing purpose over performance. The strongest achievements are often those that surprise the world because they were developed away from constant attention. Never confuse visibility with significance. Some of the most extraordinary transformations happen where no applause exists. They happen in the quiet mornings, the lonely evenings, the repeated acts of discipline that no audience will ever witness. Those unseen moments shape your future far more than public celebration ever could, because the success you protect in silence will always be stronger than the success that depends on being seen. When you stop seeking attention for your achievements, something unexpected begins to happen. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to anyone. The desire for applause slowly disappears, replaced by something far more powerful, inner certainty. This is the difference between confidence that depends on the world and confidence that is built within. One is loud because it constantly seeks recognition. The other is silent because it already knows its value. Many people mistake confidence for visibility. They believe that the more they speak about their accomplishments, the more successful they appear. But appearances can be deceiving. A person who constantly announces every victory often reveals an invisible hunger for validation. They need others to confirm what they have not yet fully accepted about themselves. Every compliment becomes temporary proof that they matter, but the moment the applause fades, uncertainty quietly returns. Human psychology explains why this happens. The mind easily becomes addicted to external approval. Each compliment creates a brief feeling of significance, encouraging the desire for even more recognition. Over time, achievements are no longer pursued for personal fulfillment, but for public reaction. Success stops being a journey of self-mastery and becomes a performance designed to satisfy an audience. The tragedy is that an audience can never provide lasting peace because its attention is temporary by nature. Real confidence follows a completely different path. It is born in moments that no one else witnesses. It grows every time you keep a promise to yourself. Every early morning you choose discipline over comfort. Every difficult decision you make despite fear. Every setback you survive without surrendering your purpose. These quiet victories shape your identity far more than public praise ever could. Think about the strongest mountain. It does not announce its height. The deepest ocean does not boast about its depth. The brightest stars never ask anyone to notice their light. Their presence alone is enough. In the same way, genuine confidence never demands attention, because its strength exists independently of observation. It remains the same whether the world applauds or remains completely silent. This is why wise individuals often celebrate privately. They understand that the greatest reward for success is not admiration from others, but the transformation that occurred within themselves, the discipline they developed, the fears they conquered, the person they became along the journey. These rewards cannot be measured by likes, compliments, or recognition, because they belong entirely to the other soul. There is another freedom that comes with silence. When your identity is no longer connected to public approval, criticism also loses its power. The same people who once praised you cannot destroy your peace by withdrawing their support. Their opinions become exactly what they have always been, temporary reflections of their own emotions, not permanent definitions of your worth. A life built on validation will always be controlled by the people providing it. But a life built on purpose becomes impossible to manipulate. You stop asking whether others understand your path, because you understand it yourself. You stop announcing every step because your destination matters more than your audience. And you stop measuring success by the number of people watching because your greatest competition has never been another person. It has always been the version of yourself you refuse to remain, because the loudest confidence seeks attention. But the deepest confidence needs nothing except the quiet knowledge that it is becoming who it was meant to be. When your confidence no longer depends on recognition, you begin protecting something far more valuable than your image. You protect your peace. Many people spend years building a reputation while quietly losing the calm that made success meaningful in the first place. They become trapped by the need to impress, constantly wondering how others perceive them, instead of asking whether they are still living according to their own purpose. Human psychology has a subtle weakness. The more your happiness depends on another person's approval, the more control they quietly gain over your emotions. A compliment lifts your spirit, while criticism steals your peace. In this way, your emotional life is no longer your own. It belongs to the opinions of people who may not even understand your journey. Lasting fulfillment is created differently. It comes from knowing that your value does not increase because someone applauds you, and it does not decrease because someone ignores you. Your greatest achievement is not convincing the world that you are successful. It is reaching a place where your inner peace remains untouched by the world's changing opinions. Choose privacy over performance whenever possible. Let your progress become a personal conversation between your discipline and your future, rather than a public performance seeking admiration. The less energy you spend protecting your image, the more energy you have to protect your character. Because peace guarded in silence will always outlast admiration earned through display. In the end, the wisest people understand a truth that most spend their entire lives chasing. Your victories do not need your voice to become meaningful. They need your character to make them lasting. A life devoted to proving itself eventually becomes exhausted, but a life devoted to continuous growth becomes impossible to ignore. There is a quiet power in allowing your actions to speak before your words ever do. Every hour spent improving yourself becomes a sentence the world can read without explanation. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence that requires no announcement. Those who truly succeed understand that reputation is not built by telling people who you are. It is built by consistently becoming that person. Human psychology often seeks recognition because recognition feels like confirmation. But the deepest form of confidence no longer asks, "Do they see my success?" It asks, "Am I becoming someone I can respect?" That single question changes everything. It shifts your focus away from the temporary opinions of strangers and toward the lasting relationship you have with yourself. The world will always have people who misunderstand you, envy you, or underestimate you. Let them. Their opinions are only passing moments. Your discipline, your integrity, and your purpose will remain long after those opinions disappear. Continue building your life quietly, knowing that every meaningful achievement leaves a mark that words could never create. Because in the end, the greatest success is not the one the world celebrates. It is the one that allows you to live with complete peace, needing no applause except the quiet satisfaction of becoming your highest self.